Oh, you're not joining.
No, I'm standing.
He's doing a
Are
standing
you going to do a
podcast.
standing pod? Holy shit. All right, are we recording?
This
Yeah.
guy's...
Yes.
this is
All right.
powerful.
All
Oh,
of that
shit, we're
was
getting
all
right into it.
recorded.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to RPG Horror Stories, the episode podcast time where we talk about the worst RPG horror stories. I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible because I gotta talk about the fact that Joel's doing this fucking standing style.
He's standing.
Standing
So
desk.
I have vocal issues, just as you can probably already hear, and sitting down makes it worse.
Okay.
It's really interesting. I haven't tried that out.
No, I love
it
it.
expands the diaphragm.
Well, that's the
On the-
thing. That's whenever I play
lean forward.
D&D, it always stresses me out when I'm not doing it from the diaphragm.
Personally, I think this is some kind of like power play. This is a tactic to like lord over us, to assert his dominance.
Did you
I'm
miss
just
that
here
we're
to
in
have
his
fun,
house?
Tom.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
His voice is so much
You
deeper
think
than I
that's
remember.
tea you're drinking? Poison.
He's underlit.
Oh, yeah.
He's the evil producer now.
Dun, dun, dun,
But,
dun, dun.
Who's on the horn for this episode? I'm on the horn. My name is Zed Moore. I'm normally a dungeon master, but today I'll be reading out some Reddit posts.
I'm on the horn. My name is Rachel, and I am just returned after considerably long-winded laryngitis.
Awesome.
Brutal stuff.
Yeah.
I'm also on this horn. I'm
Hell
not
yeah.
Zed. I'm not Rachel. I'm Tom.
Whoa.
Tom?
Third
That's
option.
Could
me.
it
The
be?
third option.
The third. Only
The
that's
third
it.
gender.
Oh, other.
And
Yo, give me that horn.
holy
Ooh.
shit. He's not even
grabbing it.
He's
He wrenched it from my hands.
Oh, cats, Joel?
Joel's taking no prisoners, only horns.
I'm pacing around the room with this horn now, like a TED talk.
Jesus.
Well, he has such presence.
Gravitas.
He's
Let me
mewing.
take my Bluetooth headset set off.
Do you know Uber
Yeah,
this
I'm
week?
Joel.
Nice.
Uber decided to tell me that drums and horns get left in Ubers. And I'm like, why do I
what?
sound
Drums?
Wait, I
Drums,
didn't-
Like a
trombones and
three-piece
trumpets.
set?
Yeah, I'm like,
Wow.
who's the presence of mind to load them in and then forget them?
Oh, I guess in the
I
boot.
just-
They're chucking them in the boot and then getting in the front and then they
Well,
just get into their house.
There's left behind, and then there's the, well, you're out of the car now, driver
And
drives
yeah,
away.
just drive.
oh,
away.
he just steals
Thanks for the
that.
There's-
gift, guys.
An Uber conspiracy to steal all the drum sets and
They've
have
got
like a monopoly.
got a
Everything for a
marching
full
band.
band.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. They're just collecting.
These damn
Because the trombone's so specific.
these Uber drivers have had it too good for too long.
Famously, yeah.
I think we need to take them down a peg. I think that
Yes,
they're
because
earning
of
too
all
much.
the multiple rideshare options in Wellington.
Yes. Before we get into the reading out the terrible Reddit stories of people playing D&D in the worst ways possible, did you guys see the did you guys see the Costco guys and the Rizzler go on Jimmy Fallon?
No, but please explain.
Doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but did you guys
My
see that
only
shit?
Jimmy Fallon content lately has been specifically in reference to the election.
Oh,
and
okay.
Overshadowed.
Outfall, fallout, whatever.
The election is truly, the second most
important.
yeah, like the Rizzler and the Costco guys on Jimmy Fallon. Holy peak.
The only thing that I have seen about this
yeah.
is the body language analysis.
That's what I was that's what I was going to bring up. For context. So,
Please.
for anybody who doesn't
All
know,
the context.
the full content, Jimmy Fallon, a late night show host who famously is a little bit dead inside, or at least appears that way.
Wow.
And he has had the Costco guys, which is a father and son duo who do TikToks where they go to Costco and they're like, we're Costco guys. Of course we buy cookies or whatever. And they just like have a cookie. And it's kind of... It's not really my cup of tea, but there's nothing wrong with
That's
it.
quality content right there.
Yeah.
It's wholesome. It's
As examples go, that was very, very weak.
No, but that's what it's like.
Are they
think
like,
it
of
is
course
just
I
weak.
buy a 30 packet of cookies. No?
That is like what
Okay,
they
okay.
would do. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be
I
like,
think it is kind of weak.
yeah, it is a little weak. Hey, don't
Listen, we
lay
don't
off
have
Zen for a minute.
Costco.
don't come at us.
People are on the
Costco guy
emails
nations.
already.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, I like me some Kirkland, just like anyone, but we don't have Costco.
Oh,
And that is a
Kirkland's
sad
a
time.
good reference.
Thank you.
Nice pull.
um,
I know what I'm
Awesome.
about.
So and then the Rizzler
home
is
brand.
like sort of a third party, but in the same multiverse, if you will. Who's like this kid who is like this heavy set kid who does this like Riz face, and I don't really know much more about it than
nailed
that.
it right there.
I don't. Yeah,
Zed
you,
just
you gave
performed-
us a little bit of a taste, and I felt like I need
Butterflies.
more.
I've got
Wow,
butterflies,
I'm
honestly.
pulled in. No?
And so
Okay.
so they go on Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon is like he's extremely condescending and like talking over them, and like it's just really uncomfortable. And this person did like a alpha like body language analysis of it. Yeah. And it's like it's so I urge you, listener, to please go find this, watch it. Like it's so funny because it's basically all through the lens that the Rizzler is the alpha of his pack, and that Jimmy Fallon is like a beta that is like trying to like undermine him, but can't because of how alpha he is.
And still 0 Sigma in the lot.
Are the Costco guys the Sigma representation?
I think so
Because there can only be
The-
3 classes.
Of course.
Yes.
the eldest is sort of like the pack elder, the dad.
Right.
And then the kid is sort of a beta to the Rizzler. Or maybe he's
Right.
a Sigma, but for sure Jimmy Fallon is a beta.
Right.
That-
and he's
that
trying
was-
to usurp a strict hierarchy.
Yeah,
God, that wouldn't stand in medieval times, that's for sure.
no
Interesting.
shot. Well,
Oh, do you
anyway,
know-
that was
okay.
important
Because
context.
because of my like
Context.
Yeah, for this
somewhat
episode.
obsessive journeying, I suppose, through all the different late night shows to get all the different takes on the various actions of the political nominees pre-election in the US. It started feeding me interesting other clips, and like, do you know Jonathan Ross as a late night presenter in like I think he's
Sounds
English.
familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Sleazy.
Oh.
Like he like all the other ones, you know, they can like kind of, you know, they're kind of jamming a little bit with their, you know,
Bantering.
yeah, there's bantering exactly.
Yeah.
But he's like full on like
Laid back.
coming on to everybody, all the women. I'm like,
I think-
it's very
yeah.
uncomfortable to watch.
I think I know what you're talking about. Conan O'Brien is the
It's
only
who I'm
late night
thinking
show
of.
host that is not dead to me because he's the goat.
Wait, is he dead?
He's not dead. No,
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
Oh, then he's
hosting
not
the
in the
Oscars.
content that I've been watching. Yeah.
Is all of the other content that you get like Rizzler related?
We've
Describing-
really had to start the
I-
podcast, right?
Tell me
Describing,
more.
I was describing something in a show for blind people, right? So I'm providing the audio description because they can't see what's happening. And I described someone rolling a hula hoop over their clavicle. And then afterwards, one of the blind people was like, clavicle? And I just thought that was a term that everyone knew.
The clavicle.
Yes.
I think most
Yeah.
people know clavicle.
Do all of y'all.
I mean, yes, but I'm pretty knowledgeable.
There you go.
Yeah, we're all really smart. I hate
And not
this
hula hooping
podcast.
related.
All right, what's the
This
next one?
post is titled "DM plays online chess mid-game."
Huh?
Awesome.
With his
Hell yeah.
players? Are the players
Is
the
this
pawns?
related? Like, is this part of the D&D or is this just
We'll
his
find
own?
out.
I feel like it is
We'll
not.
I have a
find out.
feeling that's the case also.
You ever find yourself in a situation so out of the realm of your experience that you find you're paralyzed to do anything but just let it wash over you?
Me with clavicles, honestly.
Yeah.
Several years ago, my then best friend invited me to a D&D 5e game her spouse was going to run in their home with some of their friends I'd barely met.
Can I just pause for a moment?
Yeah.
Then
I
best
know.
friend
Not
seems to
anymore.
imply that this has killed
Oh,
that friendship.
yeah.
Ominous portent of things to come. I played with her for a couple of years, trusted her judgment on his skill level, and their friends agreed to join. Red flags from the start, which continued over the 5 or 6 games I played in.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah. The house smelled and looked like a dumpster, not having cleaned anything for months level of filth.
Oh, God.
Why are you coming at me that way?
One of the other players was a heavy smoker. He tried to accommodate my breathing and headache issues by not smoking during games, which was very kind, and I told him so. But he still smelled so strongly that it was miserable for me.
Oh.
My friend said it was okay for me to come over a few minutes early each week to set up my seat, disability accessibility. A couple weeks into this, my friend asked me, "Why are you here now?" with an expression like I was the most inconvenient thing that this had ever happened. So, like I was the most
best friend at the
inconvenient
time?
thing that had ever happened to her. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I need more.
Yeah.
Other players,
Why are we listening?
yeah. Other players often showed up as much as an hour late, which, in hindsight, is probably the reason for the previous question from my friend. But again, I was unfamiliar with the other players, thought it was a fluke. DM only prepped for about 5 minutes immediately before each game. I asked.
That's familiar.
Yeah,
That's a lot of prep.
yeah,
honestly.
that's
Too
5
much.
minutes more than I
This
do.
guy's putting in
Go
a lot of
easy.
effort.
Go
Yeah.
easy.
Sometimes as all of us players waited, so everybody's there and he's just fucking prepping 5 minutes.
Slack.
I know some DMs can do that. He was not one of them. This would lead to sometimes upwards of an hour of us players twiddling our thumbs mid-game, waiting for him to be ready to continue.
Wait, what?
An hour?
He's just spinning his wheels mid-game.
That's insane.
And this
Yeah.
person's already been there early, so
So-
they've been there like.
Because there's a difference on like coming up with shit on the fly, right? Like
Yeah.
being like caught totally off guard and just being like, oh, okay, I'll just make up some shit as we go.
Yeah.
But choosing to stop the game so that you can prep the next like 10 minutes
Yeah.
is pretty great, honestly.
I love that.
Do
I
this.
think, yeah, it's like I get like if a total curveball gets thrown at you and you're like, okay, just give me a
Give me
second.
more.
Like, let me think about this, take a
Hold
bathroom
on.
break or something.
Magic missile, you say?
What is...
Hold on.
shit, just sweating. Just a puddle.
I gotta make a call. I gotta call the president.
It's like, I don't even have to roll an attack roll. I can
No.
no. Yeah, so this is setting the scene for a seemingly pretty bad.
The
like,
mid-game chess thing is starting to sound questionable.
Yeah.
I thought you literally thought you were going to say plausible.
Plausible.
Like, why not at this point?
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, definitely that, but I feel like the mid-game chess is maybe not a good thing now.
They really get in a little jab here.
Ooh.
That we would wait for upwards of an hour. His DMing style was also so utterly forgettably boring.
Oh, no.
Not even bad.
Yeah.
The sickest burn. It was mid.
It was mid. Bro was mid. And
He blend, but he was.
and then
Bro coming in with the Ohio DMs.
and then the last night. No preamble. About an hour into our game, DM turns on the wall-sized TV in the room and starts showing us piano tutorials.
Huh?
How is that not the
What a
subject? It gets worse.
blindside.
Yeah.
Other players vaguely responded, but also clearly wanted to get back to the game. Then, DM started up his online chess game and started playing. The room went silent. He continued to play. I can't even tell you how long because I kind of blue screened. I think I dissociated the rest of the night, then politely tapped out of the game a few days later. No game is better than any of that.
That's
Yeah.
remarkable. Was this like a soft cancel on his part? Was he just like, okay, how can I throw something so clear that this is over than like stopping a game halfway through to just start playing chess?
It's like people who neg their partner to make their partner break up with them.
Yeah, right? He didn't want to go through the process of like cancelling on them.
Done. Yeah,
he wanted all of them to cancel on him.
Here's the thing though, right? I feel like if you're that kind of person that you just are averse to that conflict or like don't want to do that, I feel like you would just go to your room and close the door and then just wait for people to leave.
Are they coming out? Are they what?
Like,
did they elaborate on why
the head out?
Did this post the OP? Did they elaborate? Like, is this why that they're best friends no longer with the
No, I don't.
Spouse?
I'm imagining that this is just sort of maybe a story from their past. So maybe this situation didn't form a wedge between them.
I think it did. I think this was the deciding factor between their friendship being totally destroyed.
I think so too. I think actually they had like a pros and cons list, and it was perfectly even.
Yeah. And they were just waiting for that like moment, the straw to like break the camel's back and put an end to this turmoil.
I think they murdered their friend, and this is part of building the case of was it justified?
Oh,
this is evidence.
Smart.
Yeah.
Or this is them
Did
trying to self-justify.
Did the friend commit a crime against their friend here, except for being married to a boring DM who
really
cannot
boring DM.
commit to the game they started?
Rachel's walking around the room snapping their suspenders.
Now listen here. It is my deduction.
Slowly, we'll all be standing up by the end of this.
I refuse.
It would be nice for me to stand up actually, because I have horrendous sunburn on my back, and it's just this whole time I'm sitting in this chair, I'm just in pain.
I think that's maybe the best possible situation for you to be in, though. As like the leader of this charge, you've got to be in this permanent state of anguish.
True. I'm like, it's locking me in because I'm like, I can't zone out because the pain will just bring me back.
Yeah, exactly right.
Wow.
Yeah, it helps you keep. You don't want to get too comfortable in that seat of power,
No.
Because you never know when Joel might sweep in and steal it from you.
Well,
Joel,
I mean,
this is all a ploy for Joel to get my chair.
That's not why I'm crouching, rubbing my hands together.
lurking over your shoulder.
He's stroking the chair, the arm of the chair, lovingly.
Reminding our listeners that the chairs belong to Joel. This is in fact Joel's house.
That's Cherry
I
brings it every time.
It's really difficult to get up the elevator, but I do it.
It's like an armchair.
It's hard to bring a chair in the elevator.
Well, it's just hard to just get it up here. I gotta like carry it through the door, and I gotta go backwards, and then it's like banging against the glass.
I bet it was hard. Perhaps we should ask Joel how hard it was.
Joel wouldn't get it.
I was blackout drunk at that stage.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Seems like a great time to be.
Hell yeah.
Do the comments have any enlightenment? Like, does the poster of sorts
So there's
mention anything in the comments?
There's no edit,
Updates,
but
nothing.
let's see what the comments are saying.
Because I am desperate for some like more details.
And this is a comment. In my younger days, I might have put up with that for about as long as you did, but in my old age, I'd tap out after one. Stinky house, and I can't breathe because of the smoker. My asthma does not allow, and I refuse to exist in someone's filth. Let alone the disrespect of everyone showing up late and the GM not being prepped at all.
This guy's really passionate about this.
Yeah, this person's coming out strong for Lady Firelight.
Hold on. In order of lateness,
Yes.
is the DM there an hour before the players are turning up late?
Or is the DM the last one?
Well, is it not the DM's house?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Oh.
Right. So
the
this
DM's
might be a
house.
fuck you guys.
Yeah, true. He's saying that everybody gets there like an hour late, and then he's just like,
Oh, and he's
Yo-
like, yeah, let's see how you like it.
yeah,
So
I'll
that's
make you
the-
wait.
That's like the irony of OP making this post because they're early. Because they have to
I
be
do
to set up
think
their
that
seat,
they're
right?
early. If everybody else is an hour late, then I think the start time is just an hour later.
Yeah.
Because if that person was like, "Why are you here so
Yeah,
early?"
that's
Why
right.
are you here?
Why are
This
you here?
person's here way too early.
Yeah. In which case,
This whole thing's turned on its head, I think.
Holy
maybe
smokes.
the DM's like, I feel so pressured to prepare, but not pressured enough to prepare before the actual game.
Yeah.
Your Honor, do submit. Oh man,
I'm on the DM side now.
yeah.
I think this guy's
The
absolutely in the right.
the poster has made a few comments that and I think they give some
Anything
context.
enlightening?
They say in reply to another comment, they say, what made it extra weird is that I played with the DM in a game where he was a player and he was very engaged. I don't know. Maybe he didn't actually want to run the game and was just putting in minimal effort.
This is what
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
it
I'm
is. I
saying.
think
There it is.
Yeah.
I think this
This
guy
all
just
fits.
doesn't care. He
Oh.
kind of doesn't want this thing to happen, and so he's like trying to encourage everyone to leave.
Oh, I've had Am I the Asshole feeds on my socials where it's like someone who wants to get married but they keep pressuring their partner who does have a ring, and they're like, the partner's not proposing because they're waiting for the right time, right? But it's like, and then they break up because they're sick of waiting, and then shortly after that partner finds the perfect person to propose to, and yeah, they use that ring. And, you know.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, see the parallel. They're like, it's not for me. This game is not for me, but in a game I want to be in, I'm here for it.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right,
I'm
right.
engaged where I want to play.
There's also an element of like maybe trying to prove that, you know, they're not willing to give up. They're just going to let everyone else give up on them, and then they're like self-justified.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we could really ignore the fact that if their house is not well taken care of, then, and they're also not prepping, they're possibly in some kind of sense of overwhelm with their mental health or something, where they just cannot take care of themselves, let alone an obligation such as DMing, and like the prep involved with that. Like, so they're like really regretting that responsibility, and they're like, no.
And they're exercising that regret in a healthy and
Passive-aggressive
reasonable
way.
yeah.
I'm on their side, I think.
I think so too. I think that's how I solve all of my problems. Is I just sort of drive the people away that are relating
Exactly,
to that.
yeah.
That's the way to
And
go.
that's been working fine.
It's been working great.
Yeah.
Zed's
Yeah.
playing chess right now.
I am. My elo is going through the floor.
Oh no!
Shit.
You're really bad at chess.
I'm really bad, especially when I'm trying to do a podcast at the same time.
This podcast
Listen.
interfering with your chess game.
You rookie. Listen, let me go
The chess
get...
players are like, are you doing a podcast right now?
Yeah, I'm typing in the chat. I'm not even making moves. Please, 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 don't take my queen. That was a plunder.
I'm doing a thing. Oh.
Why would you do that? That's so
This is so
unfair.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Chat, is this for real?
Just in the like 1v1 communication. Yeah.
This is so fucking cheap.
It's turn one, dude.
Dude, this is so.
Such a scrub move.
Haven't moved anything yet.
Oh,
Great.
right.
That's good shit.
Shall we move on to another post?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me some more horror.
Here's my advice for those people.
Oh, yeah.
Use communication.
Communicate.
I don't know about
less.
that,
Discussed this
told Joel.
before.
I don't know.
Joel, people who do D&D don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my advice for all of
Yeah,
these
that
posts
is-
going forwards. Use communication.
That does tend to be like a through point, you know?
Also, second advice, never go to a thing that somebody invites you to. I've never seen it turn out well.
That's true.
No one says, "So- my friend or my partner invited me to this thing, and it was cool.
And it was really good.
It's crazy how on this RPG horror stories thread, the stories are always so fucked up.
Yeah,
You
so
know what I mean?
negative, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be nice if a couple of them are kind of
It's
nice.
like if you're always if people around you are always the problem, maybe you're actually the problem.
I think that's the case for every single person on this Reddit forum.
Yeah. Now this actually does not come from the subreddit RPG Horror Stories. This is a more chill question that
Ooh.
comes from our D&D, and it is
Our D&D?
our D&D. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I own this person.
Oh my God.
This post is titled "How Serious is D&D?" I'm currently playing Baldur's Gate and adoring it, and noticed that my university has a D&D society.
Rachel, are you saying, is it adoring or enduring?
Thank you.
Adoring.
Thank you.
We were on the same page as
Yeah.
that.
I was like, yeah.
They're hating it, but they're playing
I'm
it
choosing
anyway.
really
to play this
enduring
game, and I'm
this.
really enjoying this. Yeah.
A part of me wishes to try to join in, but I fear I'll be a bit more casual about it than they might be. I'm very much about drinking 3 pints and fighting dragons.
Oh, hell yeah.
And according to my father, rare is the day the members of a D&D society feel the same.
Oh my God. Their father sounds so well spoken. Are they like an old British governor sitting in front of the fireplace? Son,
Rare is the day pontificating about D&D players.
rare is the day.
The members of a D&D society feel the same as you.
They use society too.
They really do.
I might
I'm curious, what is the society? Are we part of it? Woo.
I might not take it seriously enough. Is this the case? What do y'all think? And I
I
think
love how their dad is being like, you clearly don't appreciate the arts, boy.
the subtle art of Dungeons and or Dragons.
Slow your roll, you fool.
No son of mine.
You shall not goof.
Hey, listen,
That's
it's serious. It's serious if you're the OP of the previous post. It's
Yeah.
not serious if you're us.
Well, that's the thing. And I feel like this is there's not much of a discussion here. I feel like that we all will have the same opinion, which is that D&D is very much does not have to be serious, and most of the time isn't.
How dare you?
Except
To
for
be
when
fair-
we're playing.
Yeah, when we're actually playing,
Well-
and we build that tension, and then we're all holding our breaths on a dice roll, and
The
then
se-
we all like fucking when we roll correctly or the best way. Or
That's how
something.
I act.
Well,
Every
that-
single
You
time.
know it.
The
It
thing
happens.
is, like, the seriousness just comes organically once you get attached. Like,
Yeah, true,
eventually
true.
you're just fucking into it. But
Yeah.
most of the time, you're just having a fucking good time with friends.
Yeah,
It's
good time
the
friends.
opposite of like an improv teacher who says, hey, you don't have to be funny. Funny will happen.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be serious.
Yeah, no, you don't have to give a shit about this.
Yeah.
Just fuck around and it'll happen. Trust me.
Yeah,
The seriousness will come
yeah.
when you've got the skills.
But you do have to be funny in D&D.
Yeah,
That
if
is
you-
a requirement.
You'll be kicked
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah, unlike improv, the funny will happen with improv, but with this, the funny won't happen. You've got to make it happen.
You've got to
You've got
force
to
it
leave.
at every turn.
You gotta take
turn.
some 101 classes.
Yeah.
You gotta know
Yeah.
about
Gotta get-
speaking
You gotta
get
your
certified.
Truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get that certification.
You gotta be sometimes you gotta be the straight character to really ham it up.
Yeah,
Exactly
Mm,
right.
mm,
that's true.
Facts.
Or like-
Yeah, I mean, my advice to anybody listening who wants to get into D&D and this is actually, I feel like people often do get intimidated by like actual play podcasts that are like very performative and like edited and structured and like maybe they're like professional actors hosting them or whatever. Like fuck, that's like I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like D&D is most of the time just people just fucking around and just drinking and eating snacks. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I had-
pretending to be fun fantasy characters.
Yeah.
I had a slightly delayed but wonderful thought, which is
Yeah.
we were talking about like people who are like established in D&D, blah, 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 blah. And then you have, for example, in our pod, 3 more experienced players, and then you drop me in the middle of them. And then I was gonna relate that to being a cat among pigeons. And then I was like, oh my god, Tabaxi is a cat. And that was all very delayed, and that's what my big gasp was for. If anyone's wondering,
Awesome.
Wow.
you're welcome.
I think I would have been more impressed if you just dropped that organically. If you said the
No,
cat
I need to
amongst
explain my
pigeons,
jokes.
but you
Yeah.
gotta explain.
build-
You
it
wouldn't
Right,
first.
understand.
the
You're too
build-up.
serious, Sid. So
Yeah.
I'm explaining it to you.
No, I
yeah.
appreciate it. I
I
appreciate
think
that.
you should have just screamed, Tabaxi's cat!
Yeah. Tabaxi's cat.
Forget all the preamble.
Okay.
Obviously.
Just like you're having a stroke.
Yeah.
Constantly. I'd love to see what my brain looks like. Maybe one day.
But yeah, so D&D, take it seriously. Is that what we're saying?
No, you got to be funny.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
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 okay.
yeah,
To
yeah.
be
Yeah,
part
you
of
have to
D&D,
try
you
to be
have
funny.
to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. This person doesn't seem funny enough, so I'd say stay clear. 'Cause
Yeah, easy,
you,
stay
Yeah.
clear.
You
Get
gotta
out.
be really funny. You gotta be on it.
Seriousness will happen.
Yeah.
But the funny has to be there from the start.
Yeah, and honestly, 3 pints and fighting dragons is not funny enough.
No.
It's actually kind of pedestrian.
Yeah.
Pedestrian,
It's a
honestly.
little
Yeah.
basic.
Yes,
Little
that's what-
basic.
That's what I was actually
Yeah,
looking
no,
for.
what you need
Pedestrian.
what you want is actually you want three beats and you want to rest the game, right? So you want beer, and then dragon war, and then beer at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, this is why this
Yeah.
guy's the
Smart.
professional.
Yeah. After all,
I learned
all
that
good campaigns
from
start
Paul
in a
Joel.
bar or a tavern of some kind. That's a great place to start a campaign.
Huh?
A tavern
A tavern.
is a great place
the
to start a
game in
campaign.
tavern.
I don't know. It's kind of played out. Anybody who does that is a hack.
Oh.
I was gonna go with the like. Okay, yeah,
I
that's
love-
true, but you got me. I laughed it.
I had a theory recently, which is that I reckon it's really good to like I feel like D&D works so well with like tropes. Like it's so fun to sit in that like tavern meeting and like the dragon and stuff like that because you're gonna be, because everybody's so crazy that it's gonna be subverted anyway. But it's like it's just, you just get that like there's just something magical about like the fucking just the I don't know, there's something
No.
something
Do you want
starting in
a
a
fun-
tavern or
Do you want
I
a
think-
fun related a real life dragon fact?
Sure.
Real life
Real
Yeah,
life
go
dragon
on.
fact.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'd like to know where this goes.
I'm intrigued.
yeah, go for it. I
Oh,
guess.
you've little faith. Listen, because we've been reading a book about prehistoric sharks this
Uh-huh.
week, and
Meg.
within the last 500 years, there are people who
Jason's
believe
take.
that shark teeth were the petrified tongues of dragons.
The petrified tongue.
Yeah,
Tons.
and I just have questions. I'm like, A, how big are these
They're
teeth?
so
B,
small.
how small are these
Yeah.
dragons? Exactly.
Maybe dragons have always been tiny and they've just been like massively blown out of proportion in folklore. Maybe
Yeah.
real life actual dragons are much smaller than we
Oh
expect.
yeah, it's like someone
Ooh,
got
yeah.
bitten by the like a kitten, and then it got infected, and they were like, "Oh, it was huge."
It was huge.
Oh,
Huge.
yeah, yeah.
Tom, what were you gonna say?
Thank you for that segue, Rachel. You're welcome, guys. Tom doesn't need to remember.
But yeah, if you're out there and you want to play D&D but you're intimidated, just play. It's just fun. Just
Yeah.
It's a good way to make friends quickly too. When
Yeah.
I was in this city, I didn't really know
Kind
that
of
many
a fucking
people.
loser, to be honest.
I was kind of a fucking nerd,
Yeah.
dude. And then I was just like, yo, I'm a DM. I can run a game for you folks. And then they were like, do you have to be in it? And I was like, yeah, kind of. And they're like, fine.
I guess.
And now I'm going rock climbing and getting bad
Really bad
sunburn with them.
sunburn and
So
heat stroke.
actually, it's not worth it. Don't play.
Take it all back.
Ow, it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
And as a relative noob who just came into D&D, not knowing a hell of a lot, you can pick it up fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It's an easy
Yeah.
game to play.
And also, if the campaign that you join isn't to your taste, you can always suck at playing and die, and then find another one.
You
That-
can just put on piano.
Yeah.
Or play chess.
Play some chess.
Like on piano
No one
tutorials.
knows.
Piano tutorials. I think we didn't spend a lot of time talking about how funny that is. That's so good.
The fact that it's tutorials as
And
well.
it's-
Yeah, this guy
Yes.
was learning to play piano in the
Look,
middle of his D&D session.
Listen,
Check these
I-
scales.
I need you all to know that you're going to need to know these scales in order to progress.
Oh, it
in
was
this
a
campaign.
puzzle.
Maybe it was a puzzle
Oh,
as part
shit.
of D&D.
Well,
they
they've
just didn't
actually
pick up on it.
underrated this guy. He's a genius.
All right. Shall we?
The more we think about it, the more this guy's in the right, I think.
This guy's the best. Shall we move on?
Give us another.
to another
Okay.
one.
Wow.
Another.
One more.
Jinx.
One more.
You brought that on yourself.
All right. This is
Curse my
titled.
family.
This is titled. It is so obvious that my DM is fudging, and this is a table
Oh.
dispute.
I have
so...
a lot maybe to say about this. So,
Oh,
but I want to
It
know. I want to
depends.
know what the.
Are they rolling on their laptop?
we will find
they
out.
refuse to roll on anything else.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like there is no point in even attempting to come up with a strategy or cast big spells. Save spells will never work until the fight is basically over, and it doesn't seem to matter how much damage is done. Fights always seem to last about the same length of time. It has gotten to the point where I cast a cantrip and end my turn, as it will make the whole ordeal over faster.
Oh my god.
Kind of
Well,
a
I mean,
YTM moment there.
What duration? Does it talk about the duration?
We'll see. It is such a shame because I love my character, how they fit into the world, and the story the DM has crafted for them. Seriously, it is almost impossible to find a DM who does that as well as he does. I tried talking to him about the combat, and I got the impression that he thinks he can manage the tension as well as the randomness, as well as the randomness of the dice. The problem is that he really can't. I am ashamed to admit it, but it has gotten to the point where if I know the next session will be a big fight session, I will make an excuse and cancel my attendance the day before.
Whoa.
This is an interesting one. Like,
Sabotage.
So
yeah, what were you gonna
initial
say?
thought as a DM, Zed, I
Yes.
think it's pretty common to like fudge a dice roll, to like turn a 20 that might have truly irreversible damage to a party or to a session, and then make it slightly less, or to give extra hit points to a monster because a fight didn't quite catch the rhythm that you wanted it to catch.
yeah, I will say I agree. But I will say I personally don't fudge too much.
No.
I have a couple times. I actually on the podcast I don't think I've ever fudged anything. But
Thank
I
you.
have in home games I have added HP to a monster because I realized that they would have died in like one turn.
Yeah.
And I realized that I had just prepped that badly, and I was just like, okay, super quick math. Let me just adjust this, and then they'll probably still smoke them, but like it won't be like over super quickly. But I do think it is pretty common. Yeah.
I might have just outed myself really badly here.
you scoundrel!
Interesting.
All of those attack rolls that all
lies.
those crits that Alex made. Are you telling me?
They're all lies.
But yeah, I do think
I think the caveat there is that I've never done it against the party. It's always been if I feel like a particular character has had a really bad time in the game, I've made things easier for them, even if the dice rolls don't reflect that.
Yeah, I do think that it is way more common and more accepted to, like if a character, an example would be like if a monster crit and it's like it's a really arbitrary situation and they're gonna like cause a PC death or something.
Maybe you would waive that one.
Someone might fudge that.
So the
Someone
the
might,
DM,
not everyone.
Not everyone.
obviously the DM has kind of multiple roles, right? They're like the narrator, but they're also a leader, you know? And if you see someone not keeping up, and you have a way of helping them to keep up so that everyone enjoys the campaign more, so that the group as a whole, the party as a whole, can get to like their next challenge or combat or whatever. Like, it's in service of the entire campaign for you to do that, right? If they're just not going to get there by themselves.
Yeah,
Because their
I
role's
think.
not doing it.
Yeah,
But it depends on the circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, it does.
I think that the kind of the randomness and like the push and pull of D&D is really I feel like it is really important, because I think if you were gonna have like a really tight, like if everything was gonna go kind of to plan and like have a very consistent rhythm. Like it seems like this DM is trying to kind of like, or maybe they're trying to craft that. I feel like at that point, that's like, I don't know, that's like a book or a movie.
It's taking
or
away
something.
player agency.
Yeah. Whereas like I feel like there's the randomness of D&D is like what makes it so different.
I think that the writer of this post, the problem that they have specifically is that lack of player agency. I think they've become disenfranchised by the fact that they have a cool character, but it doesn't really seem like it matters what they do. The outcome is always the same, and that's why they talk about just casting a cantrip, because ultimately the combat will always last 5 rounds.
Well, I mean,
it's
the
like
examples
rubber
that I gave-
banding in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how far you're ahead. Like everyone's gonna eventually catch up.
Oh,
you can have
yeah.
you know, neck and neck.
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Not when I play Mario Kart.
Smoke full.
I'm on like on level
he's
1, so
so
don't look
far
at me.
back.
But like,
Zed finds a way to break that system and be quite solidly last.
Yeah.
so the difference between my example, where like the DM is assisting somebody to keep up in order for the story to continue, because it would be kind of a letdown if there was an accidental TPK on like the second session or something, right? So like bit of a downer. There's a big difference between that and like controlling the outcome of every single combat, so that there's like no variation. And that's
I think
I think that's very obvious, and that's what makes it so lame as well, because you're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, exactly right.
I think there's like a window of like how much fudging is acceptable, and I think it starts at like no fudging, and then it goes to like a bit of fudging, and then I think if you're fudging every combat that's just way out of that.
It's probably exponential, right?
Yeah,
like the how problematic it is increases with
What's
the
your
amount that you do it.
X and Y axis on this graph.
The number of fudges per session, or per campaign potentially.
Is that the X or the Y?
well, X would be the time series, I suppose.
Yes.
Right.
X is
So
time,
X
Y
your
is
classic.
number of fudges.
Yeah, X value
Yeah.
is over time, and then the Y is the number of fudges.
Yeah.
Does this,
Yeah.
What does this
So,
graph
X-
achieve? I guess is my question.
A visual aid.
Okay.
There are more fudges over time.
A visual aid.
I love how
Practical
deep
DM's guide. D&D DM guide for dummies.
Told Joel, you
Like,
seems
not the
like you were
actual
about
proper-
to say something.
I think I can see how you get to that point, because especially if we take into what they said about that this DM is good at like world building, the character stuff, and all of that. If I was to sort of extrapolate and throw in a little bit of assumptions there, the DM could be like very creative and well versed in like narrative structure and things like that, like storytelling.
Yeah.
Which would give them those sort of skills to be able to do all the good shit.
Yeah.
But when you do go deep into that, I can see how then when you're putting together like a combat session, that you start thinking, man, this would really crush hard if it
Went
kind
a
of went
particular
this
way.
way.
Yeah.
And they're just on the brink.
Yeah.
And then it comes back.
Yeah.
So he's building these combats with an outcome in mind that suits the greater narrative.
Yeah.
So he's got this narrative mindset.
As
and he's
long as
built-
it actually is. Like, is it actually serving the greater narrative? I mean, from this player's perspective, it's not.
Well, I think it's still serving the grand narrative. I think this player is just getting to the point where it feels like they don't have a say in what the grand narrative is.
Yeah.
That the DM is ultimately doing their own story, essentially, and the players are just kind of along for the ride in his story or her story.
I think it's the root of a lot of problems, and I think this is probably on the lower end, because it seems like this DM is, they cares about the game and stuff, and they're not. It doesn't seem like they're like a terrible, but I feel like in a lot of the horror stories, it comes from the root of it is that the person, the DM, wants to write a book. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes that manifests in like different ways. Like, I feel like there was one where they literally did write a book, right? It was
I
a
think
previous horror story, and they were like wanting to like incorporate that into the campaign or something. But I feel like this is kind of a
Yes.
similar thing
Yeah, I
where
really
it's
know.
like they've got a vision, and it's like
I
the
kind
players are
of
sort
wonder
of-
if they're doing it to handicap themselves, because otherwise they'd be too good a DM. They're like, guys, look, I fucked too hard and I need a break.
Yeah.
yeah,
I've got to have a flaw, and so I'm going to
Yeah.
create this flaw for myself.
You need me to have a flaw.
That's always. Oh man, I
You
can
think
relate
you
to
want
that.
me to go raw dog, and you can't handle
You're
that.
not ready, guys. You're just not ready.
Well, any final thoughts before we wrap this episode up?
I think that I understand where that DM is coming from, but when it comes down to it, you've got to find this nice balance between writing a good narrative, crafting an engaging narrative, but it also being driven by the players. Like
Yeah.
it's got to be narratively complex and narratively interesting,
Yeah.
but also defined by the direction the characters wanted to go in, rather than the direction you wanted
And
to
you-
go
It's
in.
kind of like picking up a spider.
Right?
Right?
Elaborate.
Like you're
Absolutely agree. Now,
Now,
tell me
please
what the fuck
explain
you
what
mean.
the hell you're-
like you're holding it. The DM is holding it.
Yeah.
You don't want to let it get out of hand. You don't want to drop it entirely necessarily if you're just trying to take it outside.
Yeah.
Right? So you're trying to get it somewhere.
Oh.
You're assisting it to get where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
You're trying to stop it from like accidentally, well, not really killing itself because they've got their bungee cords on webs. You know.
They've got bungee cords.
Yep. But like, you also don't want it to get like lost in the woods or
Of
lost in the
course.
carpet.
Yeah,
or
you're,
whatever.
you're helping it on
Yeah.
its journey.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting it from A to B. It doesn't necessarily know where it's going, but you're trying to get it there.
Yeah, yeah. The spider
You're
makes
welcome?
the decision in this situation.
Well,
Is the
that part
spider
of
on the
it.
X or the Y axis?
What? How?
Oh,
how?
boy.
What? You don't. I have to explain this to you.
I'm clearly not
Disappointed.
narratively inclined.
Yeah.
and
I thought you
sometimes
were
I
a
think
DM. Okay, sorry.
what people need to hear out there, as much as they don't want to hear it, sometimes your shit isn't as hot as you think it is.
True.
Oh, true. Maybe this player just has zero taste in what actually is good narrative, and the DM sucks all around, and they just can't tell.
Joel looked directly at me when he said that, and from the height that he's at, it's
Intimidating.
so
Imposing.
intimidating.
I pulled my sunglasses down to say that.
yeah.
Oh no! Did you whip them off like red hair flowing in the breeze?
What's the moral of this episode before we say goodnight?
I have an idea.
Okay.
What is
I
it?
reckon that the seriousness will come eventually with the story, but you have to be funny.
Yeah.
You do have to be funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pop off.
And if you don't want to DM, how about don't?
Yeah.
Play chess.
Play
instead.
chess,
Yeah.
learn piano, write a book.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
you
go.
Oh my god! Why
That's
we
great
solved
moral,
it.
honestly.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Check us out on the socials. We're gonna have some fun clips and videos on there at Deadbeat DND on Instagram, TikTok, maybe fucking Blue Sky. I've been hearing about this Blue Sky thing. Seems like a wholesome
yeah.
place on the internet.
Sounds
so
great.
maybe that.
We got to get on threads, man.
Yeah, we gotta get on threads.
as fast as possible.
I'm doing it right now. And you can
Let
email.
me code our VR experience.
yeah. You can email the podcast at deadbeatdnd at gmail.com. We'll be reading that out when we do our next
Big session.
when we come back to the campaign in Arc 3, which will hopefully be soon.
Yes.
And yeah, good night to all the mums out there.
Good night,
to the mums.
moms.
No, mom.
That was a Bass Jump Comedy original. It's cooked.